So you want to know what the best exercise program is? Well, today we're answering a couple of really great questions that have come in from our Movement Mastermind tribe on how to prioritize strength, mobility, flexibility, and skill, and what the best exercise program or plan is going to be for you. All that and more coming up right after this. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. All right, folks, we are back, and if we haven't met, my name is Yanni Baumeister. To my right here is my brother and business partner, Rad Baumeister. Behind the cameras are the two legends that help produce the show and create content, Richard Aleli's a business partner of ours, and Kalisha Geno, my partner in crime. We are talking about a really great topic today. We're talking about how to prioritize certain aspects of your program and what's best for you, what the best exercise program is going to be for you. How are you feeling, Rad?
Yeah,
Friday,
good.
End of the week.
Yeah, I'm just reading these comments. I can't believe how quickly this week's gone by. It's flown by. But anyway, yeah, I'm training today, training tomorrow, so
Awesome.
it's good. Yeah.
Awesome. Look, another quick shout out. Thank you to all of the new Movement Mastermind guys who have posted an introduction to the group. It's really important that we continue to build that tribal aspect. That's where our strength is, and it's really great to see some backstories coming through. People from all over the world. This is kind of new for Rad and I, because we've always had our tribe here in the gym and the guys that we hang out with and train with. But now we're reaching people from countries all over the world. We've got people in the group from Romania, the USA, England, Germany. I'm sure there's many others that I'm not. Switzerland, that I'm not saying. But hello everyone, and thank you very much for being such a great contribution to the tribe online so far. We hope to meet and see lots more of you all. Okay, well, let's just dive straight in. One of our tribe members has asked, his name is Joshua Stein. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Stein, it looks like. Josh, good question, man. How do you prioritize and put together a plan that's going to work for you? I'll start by giving my 2 cents on the matter of what the optimal program is. And this is really, really debatable, because... And I think that it's something that people get really wrong. I was one of those people for a while, and as I get a bit older and get my ego under check a little bit more, I'm able to sort of have a higher level of consciousness on it. My opinion on the best program is the program that you've never done. And I'm not the person who sort of made that up. I was told that once by a mentor of mine, Tony Battaji, many years ago, but he was talking about it in the context of strength training and traditional sort of weightlifting. And we now take that a whole lot further with our calisthenics and gymnastics strength training principles. And we have experimented with even more. What would you add to that, Rad?
So I would say when you do something like... So the Foundation Movement System online, we have created an unbelievable amount of content for it. That's our goal, is to give you guys everything that you need. And in all honesty, we're actually even holding back on what we put in there because we don't want to overwhelm people. And Yanni and I keep saying, no, we're just going to focus on this stuff and make sure that they get really good, because we've tried doing classes and teaching people face-to-face, but we just give them everything and they just didn't really get good at anything. So our number one priority with the Foundation Movement System for beginners is to get strong and get flexible, and to do that through movement skills, so that you're also progressing towards really cool calisthenics things like handstands and muscle ups and tuck planches and front levers and all that stuff. So you're getting strong and flexible whilst you're working towards skills. Now, at the start, it's the biggest danger that you've got is becoming overwhelmed, in my opinion. So what I would suggest is that you just focus on learning the warm-up and the workout, just the strength routine. And once you understand that and you can go into your workouts not feeling like you have to spend half the time looking at the program and rechecking the videos and, getting overwhelmed like that, then you start adding more layers to it. And then the next step is to add in mobility, which is basically what we do is
Kalisha.
One set of strength, one set of mobility, one set of strength, one set of mobility. So you have your paired exercises. So, for example, on Friday, you've got your hip bend pattern is paired with some abdominal core work. So you'll do one set of the hip bend or deadlift, and then one set of the core, and so on and so forth until you finish your sets. But as you get more confident with that, you'll do mobility between those sets. So that's where that equal focus of strength and mobility comes in. And I think that that's the best approach.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, guys, that everyone's going to have everyone should have a slightly different program, because we've created some people might even go so far as to say it's a cookie cutter program, because it's like a set strength sort of training program and a set mobility program. And there are elements of that being truthful, but where it becomes diverse is that you can focus on, I don't know what you're...
He's pointing at the camera,
okay,
man.
Yeah.
There.
Sorry. You can focus on certain elements that you need more, and there will be those of you out there who need more mobility. There will be those of you out there who need more strength, and that's really where the secret to this lies. You've got to focus and prioritize on the things that you're the worst at, and that's what I meant. That's what I alluded to at the start with my comment on the best program for you is the one you've never done. If you've never really doubled down on mobility and flexibility, then there's a very high probability that that's where you're going to get the biggest opportunity for growth. That's where the biggest upside is going to be for you. Vice versa, if you've been a yogi all your life, or you're really, really good at flexibility or mobility for whatever reason, but you've got a frail body or you're not that strong, then the strength is going to be the area that you need to double down on. And it's hard because our ego tends to keep us where we're safe, and where we're safe is what we know, and what we know is what we're good at. So it's very hard to pull away, and that's the experience I had, certainly. I just kept hitting and pounding my body with strength and strength and strength, and I developed a good level of strength, but I was tight and I was sore and I was very prone to injury.
Yeah, and in the foundation movement system, we have included, unless you want to train for twice a day for 2 hours in each training session, there is no way you're going to get through everything that we've included in the program if you've also got the Mobility Masterclass. Because the Mobility Masterclass itself, if you do those 3 routines daily, that was when I was doing that stuff, I was getting that done in about 1.5 to 2 hours. So if you want to do that and then also do your strength training and the warm-ups and everything, you're looking at 2 training sessions a day. Now, if you've got the time for that, awesome, go for it. But if you don't, then don't get overwhelmed with it. And again, I'm going to go back to it by saying what we've done is provided the path for people to be able to figure out and learn what they need the most and focus on. Now, at the basic, if you're going to come back to, well, what about me? What about the average person? Where do I start? Unless Yanni disagrees with me, I strongly suggest that you just start by mastering the warm-up, the FMS warm-up, and the strength training workouts, so the core of the program. And then from there, you can start looking at adding in the mobility. And for the FMS online clients, we recommend there's the mobility, upper body mobility, spine mobility, and lower body mobility. You learn those exercises. There's, example for the lower body, we've got the single leg good mornings for the hamstrings and the diagonal stretch for the hip flexors. And once you understand those exercises and which ones you're the weakest in, those are the ones that you'll do 3 sets of a day between your strength training exercises, until you want to look at mobility with like 6-month chunks. You'll do something for 6 months and see if it changes your body, and then you reassess and see if you need to focus on something else, if that's the weak link, if you've now got a new weak link. But you don't look at, I've never really got great results from looking at mobility as a month-to-month thing. It just frustrates you. If you think, okay, I'm going to double down on this, on the pancake for a month and then see what happens, and you get to the end of the month and nothing has happened. Yeah. But when I really started getting results was when I started saying, okay, I'm going to do this for 6 months, no matter what. I'm just going to do this for 6 months. Doesn't matter if I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And then at the end of the 6 months, you've made progress. And
Yeah.
it might only be this much. You might have only gotten that much better. But then if you do it another 6 months and another 6 months, a couple of years later, all of a sudden you're, and I'm saying this is in a literal distance. Like maybe your hip bend, maybe you could only bend to here, but then 6 months later you can bend to there. Well, that's massive. That's
Yeah.
a massive improvement in hamstring flexibility. What do you reckon?
Absolutely, and the other thing I want to add is what you want to aim for. Your goal, I think, with movement is that movement becomes play for you, and you'll get to a point where you achieve a certain level of strength and a certain level of flexibility where it becomes a lot more fun, a lot less stressful, like Rad's been alluding to here. And you look at it as play, and then you get really unique opportunities to explore your play and your movement practice. For instance, when we go on vacation, I prioritize mobility training and handstands because I don't need any equipment for that whatsoever, and I can get a really great workout from doing those things. On the weekend, to give you an example, we took our kids to our local park, and I felt like I hadn't done much for a while because I've been quite sick. So I had a little play, and I took my shoes off and I warmed up my hamstrings, and then I started doing pancake and straddle ups, and then I did about 10 minutes of press handstands. And it was beautiful, you know, and I was in a park with my kids running around playing, and then there's me, Dad, over in the corner doing his play, you know, and I think a lot of the other adults there were quite surprised, you know, to see someone who can do that sort of thing. At my age, I'm almost 40, but this is the beautiful thing about movement as a practice as opposed to exercising. You get to a level, don't you agree, where it becomes
100%,
play.
100%. It's fun, and there's always something that you can do when you get to our level, or even sub our level. But at the start, like, I mean, you'll get the... Yeah, like I'll go back to it. Like master that warm up, master the basic strength routine, and then start adding in the flexibility to it. And over time, it will build. It will build. And like, I'm just going to read.
That's certainly the journey that we had. Like you got to understand, guys, where we are now. We focused on strength for like years before, and I regrettably I did that because I would have much preferred to understand flexibility and mobility training back then. If I knew then what I know now, by God,
See, it's
I'd
funny.
be phenomenal.
We had the complete opposite because I didn't focus on strength. I focused on flexibility and movement because I did martial arts. And I'm the opposite. I wish I knew about strength training back then because Yanni's so much stronger than me, but I'm more flexible and mobile than he is. And that's how the foundation movement system was born, because we didn't train together for 10 years. And then when we did start training together, like honestly, we didn't train together once for 10 years, but we both trained all the time and we both saw the results in our bodies of what we could do. But then when I got out of the army and we started training together, there were massive differences in what we could both do. Like there were things that either of us could do that the other one couldn't even stand a chance of doing. And we really had got hit with the humble stick and went, wow, you know, what we're doing now is not the ultimate way to train because it's not producing results in all these markers of movement capability. And you just have to focus on some things and then build on it, and focus on some things and then build on it. So don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed. Like I want to read Tom. This is the power of the Movement Mastermind, by the way, for those of you that aren't in it, which is our private Facebook group for all of our gym members and online members. And we've had a bunch of other, like after Josh has asked his question, a bunch of people have answered, and Tom Wood has come up with a cracker of an answer. So he said it really depends on your goals. Are you already flexible or strong, and how limited you are on time? I started off doing the loaded mobility and flexibility routines daily with the Mobility Master course 3 times a week. I did this for 3 weeks. Then the FMS was released. I now do loaded mobility first thing when I wake up, the FMS daily, 6 days a week. I warm up with the FMS warm up, and in between exercises, I stretch with the exercises I need to improve on from the flexibility routine. Upper body days, stretch lower body, and lower body days, stretch upper body. My aim is to eventually add the masterclass, but currently focusing on the above. Hope this helps. I mean, how good is that? Tom, you've literally said the exact thing that we've just been saying in this thing. You are focusing on the things that you need to work on. You've gotten rid of some of the stuff that you were doing before because you can't fit it in, and you're focusing on bringing that back in later, and that's the way to do it. It's just unreal. And I can tell Tom, just by reading that, I mean, I know that you've a little bit more advanced than other people in this group, but I can tell that you've got some experience with training because this kind of thing didn't overwhelm you. You were more capable of prioritizing it. And I get as a beginner, or I shouldn't say I get, Yanni and I get that this is really overwhelming as a beginner. And trust me when I say this, we have simplified this so much. We have seriously simplified this and made it in as much of a straight and narrow path as possible. When you guys get better and when we release more stuff with this FMS, there are many cool things that we're going to be working on.
We're working, like we were talking about this just yesterday because we're working on a muscle up specialization program, a handstand specialization program,
which are all things that are included in the FMS, but this is a specialized way of doing it for those that want to double down on it.
Because we were like, if we put too much of this stuff into the program, it's gonna stifle people, and it overwhelms people, and they end up not doing enough of the right thing, and we're working on a lot in the background. There's going to be a lot more being released, but
I mean, later on we'll release things like locomotion and flow type training as well, which is really cool. It's been a big part of the FMS development, but it's something that we decided to not include in the program at the start of the journey because it gives people too much to do and they don't get good enough at one thing.
Yeah, that's right. The biggest thing in the initial, and this is what we'll end this discussion on today, because this is like this is not debatable. This is like fact. The first thing that you're going to get the biggest result from in any sort of athletic facet, whether you're an athlete, a footy player, or whatever, is to develop strength. Like, develop a base level of strength in all of your joints, the tissues, remodel the tissues, the tendons, the muscle bodies. Just focus on developing strength for the first 16 weeks, I reckon. And obviously the warm-up that we've got is doing the tissues on a micro level, and the exercises are doing the muscle bodies on a macro level. And then once you really start to understand that, the warm-ups and the strength training start to bring the mobility into it in a big way. Now, that contradicts what we say a lot. Mobility comes first, then stability, then strength. But it depends. If you're an absolute beginner, I think you're going to get the most reward out of doubling down on the strength in the early days. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I said, but I think it's more just about learning it.
Yeah.
It's about learning and understanding the workout, and you need to understand those strength training movements. They're more complex than the mobility. The mobility is simpler. It's easier to understand.
Yep.
And if you're not, you need to be getting stronger. You definitely. It's
the very base. You'll be able to progress to a certain level quite well with strength, and then you're going to hit a glass ceiling where mobility is going to unlock all of the cool calisthenics movements. But there's so many things that are occurring especially if you're a real beginner, and we're making assumptions here. We don't know just how much of a beginner you guys are, but I'll talk straight to you guys. The concepts that we've discussed about the different levels of neural adaptations for strength, the 6 different neural adaptations that are occurring. There is all these sort of coordinating factors and systems that are evolving in your body, and that's a lot to take in at the start. And you are going to, if you're new to this, then I'm so envious of you, because you're going to experience a massive, massive period of evolution over that first 12 to 16 weeks of the Foundations program, and just embrace it and enjoy it, man. Like, it's awesome, and you'll see really big results. You'll hit a point after about the sort of 3 to 6 month mark where to unlock the next big breakthrough like that requires a big level of mobility and flexibility. And that's where you should double down on that. But what we've learned is that when you try to do a little bit of everything, you progress quite slowly. I would prefer if people go into the mentality of, okay, and this is the way we program block with mesocycles and macrocycles and microcycles. You just got to double down on one thing for a while, and then...
But this is, to be honest, I agree and I disagree, because I think this is... this is really good advice for a beginner who is very time poor and who isn't going to put in the time to learn it. If you're somebody that's going to dedicate an hour and a half to 2 hours a day for your training, and you are going to spend the time watching the videos and rewatching them to make the mental imprint in your mind, then I think you should absolutely do mobility between sets at the start. But I think what Yanni's saying, just to clarify it, and hearing him say that, he obviously agrees with me. This is for an absolute beginner that's getting overwhelmed and that only has an hour to train a day.
Yeah.
If that's you, do exactly what Yanni said. Just do the warm-up and just do the strength training, and we'll tackle the mobility at a later date. If you're going to dedicate at least 90 minutes, between 90 minutes and 2 hours a day to your training, or maybe let's say 90 minutes plus, bare minimum 90 minutes, and you're going to watch the videos and really understand it so you don't stuff around in your workout, having to figure out what it is that you're doing, then definitely start learning the mobility and put that in between strength.
Now, we should really leave on a note here where, 90 minutes and 2 hours and 3 hours, those numbers are going to be really overwhelming to a new person who's new to exercise. And if there are a number of you guys out there, looking so far at the introductions on the Movement Mastermind, most people are already doing something. We got a lot of pole fitness. We got a lot of martial artists. We got a lot of different people from different backgrounds, but you're used to doing quite a lot of physical activity. And I don't know, any martial artist or person who does physical activity as a hobby, you'll understand that a workout or a practice usually will go for a lot longer than 60 minutes. When I used to box, our average training session was 3 hours long. So we're sort of used to that. But if you're very new to this, don't get overwhelmed. It's all part of the journey, and just start with whatever you can do. Just start with whatever you can do right now, and trust me on this. Patience is the death of mastery. Impatience is the death of mastery. And it'll just be part of your natural evolution that your workouts will start to expand. You'll start to find more time. It will just happen. It's part of the evolution. The moment you look at it and go, there's no way I can fit a 2-hour workout in or a 3-hour workout, it just happens. Your lifestyle starts to change. Things start to evolve.
Your priorities change.
And
it just depends on how bad you want it. And if all you want is just to do something that's better than everything else that you've seen out there and do it for an hour a day and that's it, then do that. And you'll get more out of this than you will most anything else I've seen out there. That's it.
Absolutely.
Keep the questions coming in, guys. That was really good question.
Who was on live?
Christine Wu has said hello. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, Christine. Hey to you too. That was an awesome question, Joshua, and keep them coming. That's Friday in Australia, so that's a wrap up for the week. That's a wrap for the week.
Now, guys, remember the 4:30 AMA is starting again today. I've been brutally sick, so if I don't get any more good questions in, I'll just talk about why I've been missing in action and what I've learned from that.
We've all been sick. I don't know if you can hear me sniffling and coughing, but
I've been off. I'm taking some pretty heavy medication, but I'll talk more about it on the AMA if you guys are interested.
Yeah, for anyone else on the Movement Mastermind, that's today at 4:30 p.m. Sydney, Australia.
Live. I'll be streaming live from the booth, from the podcast booth.
AMA is Ask Me Anything as well.
You guys can get your questions in. You can ask live as well, but if you do have anything big, shoot it in a comment or a post in the Movement Mastermind group so I can have some time to prepare. And we'll be hitting that up at 4:30 this afternoon. Hope to see you there. Otherwise, see you on the flip side next week. And for all of you guys in the tribe here at Unity Gym, hope to see you tomorrow for a Saturday session. Have a good weekend, folks. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.